What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Maverick here. Today we are watching the grand finale of Vivy. So, it has been a great ride so far, and well, let's see how exactly it all ends, right? Now, certainly there are some stuff that I'm still kind of curious about, some things I don't think quite really make sense, if you will, in the grand structure of the story and whatnot. I mean, the visuals, art, and music and whatnot, I am fine with all that. Those are great. But can it actually, with this kind of storyline, anything that has to do with time travel and time paradoxes and whatnot, is it going to be able to close the loop and give a satisfactory story, not only from a logical perspective, of course, but also from a character growth perspective, also from perhaps a moral perspective as well? We'll have to see, right? Does this work actually have a deeper meaning behind it, or is it just, a fun story, right? Or maybe it's supposed to make us feel something more, make us think a little bit more about some things, especially, with AI technology and whatnot in the modern age. Well, you could make a case for it having deeper meaning, but, that will all be told within this final episode. So let's just get right into it. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. And by God, I hope it's good. I mean, I have heard conflicting opinions about it, right? So, but anyways, right? Welcome back, Vivy. Right. Now she's instantly gonna rush over. Oh, well. Hey. Did Matsumoto's memories did not come back, right? So, oh, it's faster like that. All right into. Oh, never mind. I was about to say right into it, cutting right to the chase, right? Well. Spending many proud memories, right? Into this world for your sake. Hmm. Hmm. Now, of course, this song is basically a callback to Vivi's story, right? But even after hearing it and looking at the lyrics so many times, I'm still not entirely sure, like, how. Okay, hold that thought. Let's just continue on. I mean, it's not that important, honestly. It's just. Ooh. Alright. Oh, this is just the future data. Right. Technically, the shutdown program is herself, right? It's nice that it's good that Matsumoto actually had the the other virus on him, right? They certainly maybe can't just go in there and say like, "I'm gonna sing to stop all the AI. I'm gonna sing to stop the archive." Oh, is she going to like the center square, or the place that she started out at? Hmm. You're about to get a front row seat. Well, not here, I don't think. Yep. That's nice. A moment of bonding. Like, for instance, why exactly do they need to broadcast this, right? Unless, of course, it's all a calculation to allow Vivy and the others to, and the humans remaining, and prod them into action, right? Oh, see? Alternate timeline. Another branch. Oh, did she actually just tell them all that she's going to sing? I actually do wonder, though, will they actually all survive? Because even ultimately, if all the characters right here are killed off, as long as the archive is stopped, it will be a successful mission, right? I don't think they're gonna go do it again. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Hmm? Oh. That's what she's trying to do. This is quite curious, right? Huh. This Nabi, which we've literally never seen since episode 1. Or maybe even 2. Hmm? What the? Because that's her mission. Huh. As my memories increase. Hmm. Right. Literally talking about growth. Right? Oh. Ah. Here's the here's the lyrics to this ending song. Finally, eh? Wow. Ah. Alright, so there. So I guess Matsumoto still needs to show her singing to the archive, right? Or else they will still have a way to mutual destruction, basically. Loudspeakers! Oh no, wait, not just them. Fluorite eyes. Wow, literally the sun. Oh wait, there's still one final one? Right on Vivy? Oh, Matsumoto? So now it becomes fireworks. Wow. Just like that. Yeah, the virus is... It completely wipes them, doesn't it? Oh, because Elizabeth is not connected to the archive, so... She's fine. But why does... Wow. Literally... Hmm. I was actually thinking... Okay. I didn't actually think... Huh. Anyways, what I was about to say was, I actually thought the entire virus thing was more of a sort of a red herring, right? Really, it's just to sort of buy time. Yes, Fluorite Eye song. It was really just to buy time for Vivy to sing. But no, no. In actuality, it is just a complete destruction of all AI. Oh. What? Is this a rebuilt Vivy? Okay, then. That kind of an... oh... I mean, I guess it was kind of coming in a lot of ways, right? We had to see, being AI and all, for them to reappear once again. But obviously, I think what is being implied here is that they are rebuilt, right? Yeah. Let's talk more after this. Alright guys, we finally come to the grand conclusion of Vivy, and man, that was great, right? From just the impact perspective, if you will, of Vivy finally singing this final song. We have the title of both the episode and the anime as well, right? Fluorite Eyes song, and this entire thing, it's just great, right? It's just great, and obviously the visuals, the art, the music, all delivered as well, and really the music of this, I can't stress this enough. It is, Sakicho and Tadano Natsumi, the combination of these two is just too damn good, right? They are literally in charge of most of, pretty much all the iconic songs in this anime, including the opening, the ending, and so on and so forth. But anyways, just absolutely great, right? So let me go through a quick recap right now of how I understand this story ends, and even so, I have to say there are some nitpicks that I want to do. Don't get me wrong, it's an absolute fantastic anime, and I love it, but there are still some stuff that really doesn't make much sense in a lot of ways, right? And, if you don't want to hear any criticisms of this anime and whatsoever, then, I guess you can just feel free to leave after I go through all the good points already, but, I mean, it's just like it's just missing that maybe that 5% of stuff to rank it truly a complete masterpiece for me. So let's continue on at this point, right? So first of all, this episode, were there some stuff that I wasn't expecting? Yeah, actually there was. I wasn't really expecting the end to be something like this, where literally all the AI right around the world would have to self-wipe and essentially self-destruct, right? The thing that I got from last episode, well, certainly in last episode, the archive or the split of the archive that handed Vivy this program, right, embedded into the song, if you will, and this data that can shut down AI across the world. I wasn't really expecting it to be similar to the one which how can I put this? Which was received to, or was administered to Diva as well, right? It's essentially the same thing, completely wiping out the AI's memories or any existence of it, right? And essentially, just as Vivy herself sings, right? Memories are her heart, right? And if you kill off all the memories, if you remove all the memories, then you basically kill them in a sense, right? Just as killing humans, you take out their heart or whatnot, humans can't live anymore. The same with AI with memories, right? If you completely do a clean wipe, they can't really be said to be the same person anymore, right? Even though physically they might still be the same, and then even they might be programmed in the same way, right? As we can see at the very end there, with the new Vivy, and heck, I would say probably a new Matsumoto as well, right? And those were, I think what it's implying there is that just as similar to, Diva eventually becoming non-existent anymore, with her mission, her duties being inherited by Vivy in a sense, so that the same thing is happening with this new Vivy as well, and presumably this new Matsumoto, because I don't really think Matsumoto would be immune to these damages, right? Since he is also connected to the archive and whatnot. But anyways, so basically that's what happened here, and I was certainly, even throughout like the first half of the episode, I was really thinking that maybe that was just a ploy to get Toak to play along, right? And in reality, it's just something to how can I say? Well, maybe not a ploy to get Toak along, but more so, just something to it's a stopgap measure, right? But then at the very end there, of course, with Navi and the conversation between Navi and Vivy, I think at that point it's pretty much clear that this is not something that you can recover from, right? This is literally like completely wiping out all the AI on this earth, and do we have to go this far? Maybe, right? That's actually a point that I'm not going to argue or go on about, because there's too many variables, too many things to assume in terms of that kind of in that kind of system there, right? So I'm not gonna talk too much about that part. However, so anyways, going on, we can see that basically what happens in this future is that basically all of the AI, at least the more advanced AIs, probably starting from the series that Vivy was from, and perhaps even earlier, right? I think maybe even earlier AI were connected to the archive, and only those who are not connected, as well as older models, which we see a little bit of in the last episode, only they were immune to this and can continue on, right? And we see at the very end there, right, throughout the ending credits, we see, you know, the despair, the fear, the hatred that humans have for the AI and whatnot. But of course, at the very end there, we see that, hey, Vivy is back, or in a new, like, this new Vivy Mark II, if you will. Matsumoto Mark II is out, and then we see that they also have this mission in order to sing and so on and so forth. So it seems that society has rebuilt itself into being accepting of AI once more, right? It's not just a case of humans distrusting AI forever, banning AI forever and whatnot, but, you know, continuing on with this future of coexistence, right? How far along into the future is that? Don't really know, don't really care. That's probably not really all that important, right? But basically, that is the grand finale of this series. Now, with that being said, are there stuff that still to this point doesn't make sense? Yes, and so here on out is probably my points where I still feel like the anime did not give a satisfactory explanation to, and in fact I don't know. I know that they later on had some derivative media as well, including mangas and light novels and whatnot. I don't know if maybe they explained this a little bit further in those other media forms. If they do let me know. But at this point, you know, just as an anime only at this point, there are certainly some stuff that I don't quite agree with, and I don't really think, I feel like there should have been a better way to go about this, right? And again, I want to preface this by saying that I'm only going this far and taking so much time to talk about this because this is actually an anime I really, really like, and in fact, I would say I'm very passionate about, and that is why I want to, you know, bring up these topics and subjects of discussion, right? So the first thing, in terms of the archive, right? Last episode, people were telling me and saying, hey, did you notice, you know, the different uses of pronouns and whatnot? Sometimes you use we, sometimes you use I, and so on and so forth. So yeah, okay, I get it, right? The point is that, and as Vivy explained in this episode, there are fringes of, if you will, of the archive, and they don't really, I guess the archive is sort of like this collective group of consciousness, and they don't quite all agree with each other, right? Does this actually work in terms of an AI setting? Well, maybe, right? But the thing here is that even nowadays, you know, I find this funny because even right now, we have what is called, you know, with the popularity of cryptocurrency and you know, blockchains and all that, we are literally in the midst of devising, you know, various stuff which we call consensus protocols and whatnot, which I guess doesn't really have that direct a relationship with this, but what I'm saying is that typically when you put a system into place, right, and then you want to make sure that the system can actually reach a conclusion and make a decision, there is a sort of consensus protocol. It doesn't, you don't get to like have a rogue decision. It's just like voting, right? You don't, once everybody votes and the votes is cast and then, no, the decision is made. You don't get to like say, okay, the majority thinks we can go this way, but the minority doesn't, and so they go off and do their own thing, right? A system cannot work that way, and much less one that is like the archive, which is like the central system for managing all AI, right? So just the fact that there is this sort of, okay, the majority don't believe in this, but I do, or a small subset do, and so we are going to give you this side mission and allow you to do your own thing, right? Does that really make sense, especially from an AI perspective? I don't really think so, to be honest. But and the thing is, this actually goes into a lot of other problems as well, right? Including, you know, basically my main point is, why couldn't they have just made it something simpler into saying, okay, they could still be this collection, right? And collectively, they make a decision saying that, okay, because they think that Vivy might be this new, you know, the start of this new human race or whatnot, right? Maybe she is even more advanced than the archive or any other AI on the planet. They reach this kind of consensus, and so they entrust this decision to Vivy and see if, and try to see if Vivy can make the correct decision here, right? Because, again, going back to what I was talking in the last episode, bowing down to the superiority of Vivy instead, because they believe she is a more advanced life form, a more advanced sort of AI/human, right? Why couldn't they have just gone with that? Because right now, if you're saying that there is this split within the archive itself on how to treat the situation, well, what have we learned about the AI? The archive, right? Their literal job is to compute all future possibilities and do their best to guide themselves into, the mission that they have been received, right? Which is, again, safeguarding humanity, evolving humanity, and organizing and managing all AI, right? So, considering this, and considering that the archive has known of Vivy's existence throughout this entire time, if actually the majority has already decided that they did not want to pursue this kind of future, why didn't they do something about Vivy in the first place, right? Why was she allowed to continue on, and eventually still reach this point where she is allowed to travel back in time once again and change the future, right? You would have think that the archive has already computed this possibility, right? And so, you really get into, again, going back to my main point, why make this more complicated than it should be, right? Why make it so that they have to have this sort of majority-minority kind of thing? If you just said that they decide to entrust this to Vivy at the very end, I would literally be complaining about none of this, right? So unless there's a specific reason why they need to do this sort of majority-minority thing, unless they're trying to make, a specific statement in this sort of term, in this kind of terminology, and saying that, okay, maybe rule by majority is not exactly the most effective rule, or you gotta have a, you gotta look out for the minority's opinions as well. Unless they're trying to push, like this kind of moral or agenda here, I really don't see why they would need to complicate things and instead put some plot holes into your own story, right? So that's the thing I have about this entire archive, and going forward, again, well, just basically these things, right? So that's my first problem here. The second problem, and one that we see directly from this episode actually, is the existence of Navi. Now, don't get me wrong, I actually like that. I actually like that they go through, they have this one final callback all the way back to the first episode, second episode, when we know that Navi is Vivy's initial partner, right? And okay, I guess we see Navi once again briefly during when she was Diva instead, but I guess that's not really important. My problem with this is that, sure, I can understand that this can be a great story, right? And the thing is, it actually ties into a particular arc of this anime as well, one which I have criticized many times before, and that is the arc with dang it, who is her name again? Dang it, I can't remember. Who was the one who almost in episode 8 and 9, the one who sang the elegy and whatnot. What's her name again? I feel so bad for not remembering her name, but I'm trying to look this up right now. Dang it, what is she called? But anyways, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? And the fact that I don't remember her name tells you guys how much I like that particular arc there. But yeah. Anyways, wait, Elizabeth? No. Grace? No, not Grace. Ophelia. Right. Because she's named after the Shakespeare play, right? Ophelia. So, we literally have an arc in the anime in regards to Ophelia and whatnot that's talking about this, right? Her relationship, her partnership with her, partner, manager. I don't know what exactly she's called again. Oliver, basically. Sorry, not Oliver. Antonio. Who is Oliver? Antonio, right? Ophelia, Antonio. We also see that relationship. But the thing is, and that was part of my criticism of that arc as well, that entire thing only was witnessed by Matsumoto, right? Vivy was not there to witness that entire thing and to have that and to experience that entire storyline there. And I feel like it could have been such a good tie back into this relationship that Vivy has with Navi as well. This sort of, this give and take. They are actually very, very important partners to each other, and they only wish the best for each other in order to, drive each other to complete their mission. But we get none of that, right? And instead, we never hear from Navi again until this episode, this final episode, where suddenly Navi has a big, well, I guess not really a big role, right? But why take him out in the first place, right? What purpose does he actually serve here, in this final episode? I mean, sure, it reminds Vivy a little bit about Momoka and so on and so forth, but oh, well, I guess maybe technically it's also an excuse for Vivy to explain her actions, right? To explain her songs, to explain why she's doing this to someone. But I feel like that role could have been filled out by many other people as well, right? It could literally be filled out by Elizabeth. It could have been filled out by you. It could have been filled out by Matsumoto. It could have been filled out by no one. She could have had a monologue to herself. So the fact that they actually put this in here, but didn't really bother to develop Navi's character anymore, or make it have a tie-in into the affiliate arc, it actually really upsets me, because it's like a perfect setup for this kind of thing, right? So yeah, it is a callback to the first episode, but I do feel like it's a callback that wasn't really utilized to its fullest potential, is what I'm trying to say here. So, I have a problem with that particular thing as well, right? And then going on, what else from this episode, or what other thing? So the entire Yugo situation, right? And indeed, the fact that he received this. What can you call it? He received this bit of code, this bit of information, this virus, right? So in the end, who exactly sent him all that stuff? It's certainly futuristic technology, right? That much I think Matsumoto has determined already. Or maybe that wasn't exactly true. Is it true or not? I don't know. But what was that entire situation about, right? My guess is that it was actually sent to him by the by the archive, but was it for the purpose of actually allowing Vivy to experience first, in order to get Diva out, to get Vivy back, or what was the entire reason of that thing in the first place, right? And what did it actually mean? So we never really got to a conclusion on that part either. So why state it, right? This is a situation where you're putting elements in there, and you're actually drawing attention to it, but then at the very end, you're not really utilizing it properly, right? And it's just, I don't know, like there are these things here that I'm just thinking, okay, are you setting this up for something else? But yeah. Basically, that's the entire thing, right? And so even going back, right? Some people have been saying, hey, look, if you go back to all the way to the first episode and whatnot, and you might be able to see some hints and stuff and whatnot from that are like stuff from the future and references but even if we do take a look at those hidden things and so on and so forth, it doesn't really fundamentally change the story. That's my point here. So unless something has happened in the past, which I completely missed, that can kind of maybe sort of help me alleviate some of these problems, these fundamental problems that I have with the anime, I don't know. That's just my thinking at this point in terms of the entire thing. Like, it's a great story, honestly, but they unnecessarily complicated some things. They unnecessarily put in some elements, and so in the end, it just feels like there is something missing, right? There is still something lacking to have full and complete closure here. We were supposed to have that at the end of this episode with the reawakening of Vivy, and we can say, okay, this is just clean slate. Complete reboot, complete wipe, complete reboot, and let's just start over again and drive to the future, towards this glorious future where AI and humans can coexist with each other peacefully. But in the end, I'm instead left with a lot of these questions as to, so what exactly, are we supposed to take away from this, and sorry, not take away from this, but more to the point, like, what about all this other stuff? Why did we end up in this sort of situation in the first place, right? So I think that's my main problem at this point. All right. Hopefully that came across as I think I kind of jumped around a little bit, but hopefully it still was clear what exactly I'm trying to say here. And so, going forward towards the morale of the story, the moral, or the moral of the story, right? Yeah, not moral of the story, or if there's any other deeper kind of takeaway from this in regards to AI development, or heck, even just human development as a whole, right? I don't know. Like originally in the first half of the series, right? You get this feeling that we are walking towards this final decision, or this final verdict in regards to AI in a sense, and how exactly AI are. Are they human or not? Can they be close to human, and so on and so forth. And I guess in the end, since Vivy says that memories is the heart, and obviously AIs are machines, they don't have hearts. So I guess what is being implied here is that AI, even though they are pre-programmed a certain way, with a certain mission, with a certain character, certain characteristics, certain personalities and whatnot, due to the memories that they gain, each AI is still its own individual as well. So they have their own independence. You can't just say it's an exact clone of each other, right? And we see that with Elizabeth as well. Is Elizabeth, right? Well, technically, I think you can argue that this Elizabeth is not the same as the Elizabeth of old. Just as you can argue that this new Vivy, is not the Vivy of old and is not Diva, right? They are actually all separate people. And I do feel like this kind of also answers my question I had in the last episode in regards to the entire Elizabeth situation, where, going back to the arcs there, which was back in episode, I think 3-4, the entire Elizabeth situation and whatnot. And the failure of cloning AI, I think this goes back into my original theory, and that is, the memories, or like AI do have this sort of soul in a sense, right? That's not quite similar to, it's not quite the same as a human soul, but it serves a similar purpose to machines as well. And that soul, you could argue, is actually the memories, right? And so I guess in the end they do make that kind of conclusion, and which is great, right? So basically we are saying that hey, the AI are not just machines in a sense, and they do have their own thing going on as well. So I guess at the very least we can have that kind of takeaway as a sort of conclusion from the series, and in regards to its stance on AI, on robots, and so on and so forth, right? So we do have that kind of conclusion. Alright, I think I pretty much touched on everything I want to talk about here. Is there anything that I missed? No, I think this is basically it. If I do think of something else, maybe I will try to Nah, okay, I think that's basically it. And this has gone on for like 20-something minutes already, right? Super long. Anyways, if there are some answers to the questions that I put out, do let me know. Again, I know that some people probably are also looking at the manga and the light novels as well. I don't know if they have any additional information. I know there's an episode 13.5. To the best of my knowledge, I quickly looked this up. It doesn't feature any new information. Or is there perhaps something from the past that I neglected or whatnot from the past episodes and so on and so forth, which can help further explain, my questions I have in regards to the archive, in regards to Vivy, and the entire storyline, right? On the surface level, I can get it, right? This certainly, if you just assume some things and take it for granted, then sure, we can just say, okay, it's fine, it's a great story and whatnot. But I do like to go in and try and see, like, why certain characters act a certain way, right? Antagonists, they need to be believable, they need to be well written as well, right? And in this case, you can certainly say that the biggest antagonist is the archive, right? But yeah. Anyways, that's it for this. And again, barring that, of course, everything else, absolutely great. Especially, I still say that the highlight of this series is definitely episode 6, right? And just in the visuals, the audio, the determination, the character development, and so on and so forth. And I still say that the Olivia arc is perhaps the weakest, just because of it, not really reaching a satisfying conclusion or any sort of takeaway from that particular arc into the future, right? Beyond perhaps Matsumoto and Vivy, I guess, bonding a little bit more in a sense, right? So yeah, anyways, thank you guys, and you know, if any of you are here watching only this, you know, feel free to check out my other works. If not, well, hopefully I will see you guys in the future someday, sometime as well. So until then, see you guys later. Bye bye.